one thing that really struck me about the movie, which I absolutely loved, was it's incredible, isn't it, what people in power can attempt to get away with and get away with. Who pays the price for this? Is there any culpability when it comes to for what Mohamedou had to go through?
Well, you know, when I first spoke to him, and he went through telling me some of the experiences he's had, I was boiling with rage. And I felt this sense of, you know, desire for vengeance on his behalf. And I said to him, you know, are you getting compensation? Are you suing the American? He said, no, I don't want to do that. Then my whole life will be eaten up by hatred. And it's going to then, you know, destroy me, and it's not going to make any difference to anybody. And that is, you know, it's great wisdom, actually. And that's what really made me want to make this film, is because when I talked to him, he's not a man eaten up by hatred. He's not destroyed by this experience. He's actually an incredibly bright, brilliant, multilingual, and incredibly funny person who is incredibly interested in America even. You know, he loves American culture. He sings American songs, as he does at the end of our movie, The Real Mohamedou. He loves American movies. And so, you know, he's a contradiction, but there's a warmth and a sense of forgiveness that is the thing that made me think, you know, if he can have that attitude, I can have that attitude.
Yeah, I can't guarantee I'd be as forgiving as he is by the sound.
No, I don't think many of us. You've got to remember that, you know, this episode that happened now is sort of history in America, and there have been many books written about it, many documentaries made about it, whatever. You know, nothing is going to now change what happened. But what we can do, and what this movie is trying to do, is to humanize one of the victims of it. And that has never been done before. There have been movies like Zero Dark 30 made about this period, but they're always from an American point of view, where the Muslim characters are kind of faceless, nameless people who are just tortured. This movie, you are with this character and you fall in love with him, I hope.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And obviously Tahar is perfect casting. But I was going to ask, I mean, you're used obviously to the kind of pressure that comes with depicting real life situations, particularly with your sort of documentary work. And because obviously in this case, you have a kind of obligation and duty to really be respectful to the real life instances. So is that something you've taken with you from your documentary filmmaking? Because I find your work in your sort of feature film work incredibly unjudgmental.
Well, I suppose I'm interested in ambiguous characters when I'm doing fiction, and that for some reason that seems to be what I'm drawn to. And you know, not simple black and white, not kind of good guys and bad guys. And you know, in this film, you are working against the grain of a lot of prejudice which people are going to have about who this character is. So it's a kind of subtle process of bringing them in through the eyes of Jodie and Shailene and Benedict Cumberbatch, and introducing them to Mohamedou. And to begin with, they're going to be suspicious. Who is he? You know, he's a terror suspect. And then gradually, his story takes over. And for Mohamedou, the most important thing in making this movie was to be accurate about what happened in Guantanamo and what it looked like. And he would do drawings of all the, you know, his cell, and give us paint swatches of what the color was, and not literally, but figuratively, and you tell us how the guards did his chains and all the details of all of that, and what happened when they tortured him, exactly what happened. So that he said, you know, the American government spent millions of dollars keeping this a secret, not letting anyone know what happened there, not seeing photos, not seeing any film of it. I want people to really see what happened.
I just wanted to ask really about Mohamedou and Nancy, and whether obviously I'm assuming they've seen the film, and how nervous you were asking for their feedback. I guess that must be more important for you than any other review, I'd imagine.
Yes, no, obviously when you're making a story based on real characters, it is always, you know, it's nerve-wracking showing them the script, which we did because we wanted them to be happy with it and to get things right. And Mohamedou in particular was really involved in all of his sequences and trying to make them as accurate as possible. But I was actually flying out to Mauritania to show him the movie in August, in the middle of the pandemic. And I had to go via, you know, 3 different countries to get there. And I got almost there and then was turned back at the border and had to come back. So I couldn't show it to him. So I had to send it to him as a file, which was, you know, I was super nervous about it. I wanted to be there, show it to him, put it in context. But, you know, I needn't have worried because he's so sophisticated about movies. He's so knowledgeable. And he said to me, you know, which was words of wisdom that I took very too much to heart. He said to me, I don't want this to be one of those boring, slow European movies. Please make this a Hollywood movie. That's what he said. But no, they're very happy with the movie. They're really excited about it coming out. And, you know, Nancy, who doesn't want to be played by Jodie Foster? So she's thrilled. And I think Tahar and Mohamedou have become firm friends. And yeah, it's been an altogether happy experience. It doesn't, you know, making documentaries about real people, making fiction films that are based on real people, you often run into other problems. You know, you offend people, you do something that they don't like. In this case, it's been, you know, a joy.
Brilliant. Thanks, Kevin. Probably this time.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey You